Did you know that in 2025, more and more countries are tightening their rules against Filipinos abroad? Due to new immigration policies, job restrictions, and economic challenges, thousands of overseas Filipino workers, OFWs, are being forced to return to the Philippines. But which countries are pushing our kababayans, fellow Filipinos, to go back home? Let's find out. 10. Malaysia. For many years, Malaysia has been a top destination for Filipino workers, particularly in the construction, manufacturing, and service sectors. However, in 2025, the situation has changed drastically. The Malaysian government has intensified its crackdown on undocumented workers and overstayers, leading to sudden arrests and deportations. Thousands of Filipinos who have lived and worked there for years are now being forced to return home. Furthermore, several industries that once provided opportunities for OFWs have either shut down or reduced their foreign workforce. With the government now prioritizing local citizens, many Filipinos have lost their jobs and have no choice but to go back to the Philippines. Even those hoping for contract renewals are now facing stricter labor policies that make it harder to stay. For countless OFWs, it is heartbreaking to realize that after years of sacrifice and hard work, the future they built in Malaysia can disappear in an instant. Families are left struggling, and many are forced to start over. As these stricter measures continue, more and more Filipinos are being pushed to leave behind the lives they once built in Malaysia. Wait. Before we continue, we'd love to hear from you. Do you agree with these issues? What's your opinion on this topic? Drop a comment below and tell us what you think. And don't forget to include where you're from so we can see how far this video has reached. 9. Singapore. For many years, Singapore has been one of the top destinations for Filipinos seeking work, especially in domestic services, healthcare, and the service industry. But in 2025, the country is enforcing its local-first employment policy more strictly, giving clear priority to Singaporean citizens over foreign workers. Because of this, many Filipinos are struggling to secure jobs or even renew their employment passes. Rules have also become tighter for domestic helpers and work pass holders. A growing number of OFWs are being denied extensions, while others are being forced to return home earlier than expected after failing to renew their contracts. For many Filipinos who have long served in Singapore and considered it their second home, this sudden shift feels like a heavy burden. It's heartbreaking to see that despite the loyalty and sacrifices of Filipinos in their jobs, their future in Singapore is becoming more uncertain. Thousands are now being forced to leave, giving up not only their livelihood but also the stability they have built over the years. As stricter rules continue to be enforced, even more of our kababayans may soon lose the chance to stay and succeed in this nation. 8. Canada. For decades, Canada has been one of the dream destinations for Filipinos seeking a better life abroad, offering opportunities in healthcare, construction, and caregiving. But in 2025, the country is tightening its immigration rules due to a worsening housing crisis and growing job competition. With Canadians themselves struggling to find affordable homes and stable employment, the government is now putting stricter limits on the entry and stay of foreign workers. Many Filipino temporary workers are directly affected by these changes. Thousands are unable to renew their permits once their contracts expire, forcing them to pack up and return home, even if they still wish to stay and work. The Canadian government is prioritizing its citizens and permanent residents, making it more difficult for foreign workers, including Filipinos, to secure long-term stability. This sudden shift is heartbreaking for our kababayans who have spent years building their lives in Canada. Imagine working tirelessly, sending money back home, only to face an uncertain future and be told to leave once your contract ends. For many Filipinos, Canada is no longer the land of endless opportunities but a country slowly closing its doors, leaving thousands with no choice but to return to the Philippines. 7. United States. For many Filipinos, the United States has always been the land of opportunity. Millions of our kababayans have built their lives here, supporting their families back home and chasing the American dream. But in 2025, the U.S. has become much stricter with its immigration laws, launching tougher deportation crackdowns that particularly target overstaying Filipinos and undocumented workers. As part of its domestic policies, the government has intensified its campaign to reduce the number of illegal immigrants. Thousands of Filipinos who have lived and worked in the U.S. without proper documents now face the constant threat of sudden arrest and deportation. Even those with pending applications or long-standing immigration cases are no longer safe from these tighter regulations. It's heartbreaking to see how, after years of sacrifice and hard work, many Filipinos are forced to leave and return to the Philippines, often without enough savings or a clear plan for the future. The country they once considered their second home is now turning into a place of fear and uncertainty. As these new measures continue, more and more Filipinos may have no choice but to pack up and go back home. 6. Japan. For many years, Japan has been one of the top destinations for Filipinos, especially in caregiving, factory work, and the entertainment industry. But in 2025, the Japanese government has become much stricter when it comes to visa compliance and crackdowns on overstaying foreigners. Many Filipinos are being caught and forced to return home as they are no longer given the same consideration they once had. Even though Japan continues to face a population decline, the country's priorities are now clear. They want skilled workers above all. Filipinos with specialized expertise in fields like healthcare, engineering, and IT have better chances of staying, while those in unskilled labor are gradually losing opportunities. As a result, thousands of OFWs can no longer renew their contracts and are left with no choice but to return to the Philippines. For our kababayans who have dedicated years of their lives working in Japan, it is painful to see the doors slowly closing on them. A country that once symbolized hope and opportunity is now a source of fear and uncertainty. As Japan continues to favor only highly skilled workers, many Filipinos relying on simple jobs are being pushed to go back home and start over. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our future uploads. Also, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think about this topic. We're all ears. 5. South Korea. For many years, South Korea has been a favorite destination for Filipinos, especially in manufacturing, factory work, and even entertainment-related industries. But in 2025, the country has imposed stricter visa regulations and harsher penalties for overstaying. Undocumented Filipinos are now being caught more quickly and sent home as the government intensifies its campaign against foreign workers without proper papers. At the same time, demand for foreign labor in certain sectors is declining. With the rise of automation and the government's focus on prioritizing local workers, opportunities for Filipinos are shrinking. Many OFWs are denied contract renewals, leaving them with no choice but to return to the Philippines, often earlier than they had planned. For countless Filipinos who have spent years working in Korea, it is heartbreaking to see their chances slowly disappearing. The country that once symbolized opportunity is now turning into a place of fear and uncertainty, where thousands of OFWs are being pushed to go back home, carrying the weight of unfinished dreams. 4. Qatar. In recent years, Qatar has been one of the most popular destinations for OFWs, especially in construction and the service sector. But after the World Cup 2022, the demand for foreign workers started to decline as major projects were completed. By 2025, the government has further strengthened its labor reforms, enforcing stricter policies on migrant workers, and Filipinos are among those most affected. Under the new system, Qatari citizens are now given top priority when it comes to employment. The once wide range of opportunities for Filipinos is shrinking, with many OFWs unable to secure contract renewals or new job placements. Some were even forced to return home earlier than planned as their services are no longer in demand. For the thousands of Filipinos who relied on Qatar for their livelihood, it is heartbreaking to see a country that once opened its doors now slowly shutting them. Years of hard work and sacrifice are suddenly cut short, leaving many with no choice but to go back to the Philippines, often with unfinished dreams for their families. 3. Kuwait. For many years, Kuwait has been a key destination for Filipinos, especially in the domestic and service sectors. But in 2025, the country has begun implementing an expat quota system that limits the number of foreign workers allowed. Because of this, many OFWs are unable to renew their contracts, while others are sent home immediately after their agreements expire. Beyond the quota system, the issue of maltreatment and abuse has also become a growing concern, with numerous reports of Filipinos experiencing harsh working conditions. More and more are being forced to return to the Philippines for their own safety. At times, the Philippine government itself has imposed deployment bans to Kuwait, which has further disrupted the lives and stability of OFWs. For countless Filipinos who have dedicated years of service in Kuwaiti homes and companies, it is heartbreaking to see the country that once gave them livelihood now pushing them to leave. The combination of strict labor policies and safety concerns is driving thousands of OFWs back home, many with unfinished dreams and uncertain futures. 2. United Arab Emirates, UAE. The UAE, especially Dubai and Abu Dhabi, has long been one of the most desired destinations for Filipinos, offering countless opportunities in construction, hospitality, and service industries. But in 2025, many companies are cutting down on expats due to automation and strict cost-cutting measures. As a result, a growing number of OFWs are losing their jobs and are forced to return home, even if their dreams and plans remain unfinished. At the same time, immigration rules in the UAE have become stricter than ever. The requirements for visa renewal are now more complicated, and the costs are much higher than before. For many Filipinos earning just enough to get by, the rising expenses for visa renewal have become a heavy burden, one that some can no longer afford. For our kababayans who have built their lives in the UAE for many years, it is painful to see the country that once gave them hope now pushing them to leave. The combination of job cuts, automation, and soaring visa costs is forcing thousands of Filipinos to abandon their dreams in the desert and return home to start over in the Philippines. 1. Saudi Arabia. For decades, Saudi Arabia has been the #1 destination for overseas Filipino workers, especially in construction, domestic work, and the oil industry. But in 2025, the country's nationalization policy, known as Saudization, is changing everything. The government is prioritizing jobs for Saudi citizens, leaving fewer opportunities for foreign workers, including Filipinos, who once formed the backbone of its labor force. Adding to this challenge are stricter visa and employment rules that make it harder for OFWs to stay. Many employers are now required to hire more Saudis instead of renewing contracts for expats. This has led to mass layoffs and non-renewals of work permits, forcing thousands of Filipinos to return home earlier than planned. For Filipinos who spent years working hard in the kingdom, the sudden shift feels like a heavy blow. Saudi Arabia, once a land of opportunity, is now pushing many of our kababayans out, a painful reminder that even the strongest OFW destinations can change overnight. With Saudization tightening its grip, many Filipinos are left with no choice but to pack their bags and return to the Philippines in 2025. As we've seen, each of these countries has its own reasons for affecting Filipinos in 2025. This is a reminder that no matter how much sacrifice is given abroad, policies and changes can suddenly alter the lives of our fellow kababayans. So, what do you think about these countries? Do you know someone who has already been affected? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you'll always stay updated. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.